Welcome to the Mise-en-Scene Weekly podcast, where we harken back to our college debate days and pick two movies, the same theme, to clash it out, as if the Versailles Cuban sandwich had no pickles and no mustard.
Ooh.
This week's episode is focused on the magic city that is Miami, with bad boys attempting to dethrone the juggernaut that is Ace Ventura, bad boys of Mise-en-Scene Weekly. So come join Jonathan and Steven for another week of desirably less plot chatter and hopefully more film banter. We are Scene Weekly, and welcome to our temporary world together. So here we are.
We're here. Yeah, it feels good. We're actually here in person for the first time.
We have been in person once or twice, 20 times before, but how does it feel to be Ace? I mean, have you ever dressed up as Ace as a child?
The funny thing is this is not the first time that I've dressed up as Ace. I was Ace Ventura Pet Detective in 1995 for Halloween.
Wow! So like directly a year after, like the
film was a hit.
The film got a hit, and you're just like, I'm going to be Ace.
Yeah, I was 10 years old.
What kind of shirt did you have, by the way?
I had a Hawaiian shirt. Yeah.
Well, I mean, did you have this entire getup? Like, I think you should kind of stand up, and if you can,
you can kind of see
to some extent. I mean, you are stripes. There we go. Look at that. How does it feel? Do you feel like you're Ace? I mean, we actually wore this out to a restaurant called Dada or Doo Doo or Boo Boo.
But it was a brunch spot.
It was, It was very tasty. We got rained on, but the reservation was under Mike Lowry.
You put it under Mike Lowry.
I did put it under Mike Lowry. So I want to ask, like, as a kid, a 10-year-old, how did Ace Ventura feel for you?
It was probably one of the biggest hits out of my childhood Halloween days. Like, I remember I was a vampire one year. I was the lion from The Wizard of Oz. But
you were the lion from the Wizard. Wait, you were the lion from the Wizard of Oz,
the cowardly lion.
So did you purposely choose to be the cowardly lion from the Wizard of Oz? Or you was like, I'm a child and I want to be cowardly, and I like the lion. And by the way, the lion from the Wizard of Oz, and I love dearly the Wizard of Oz. Very, very dear to my heart as a movie. Inherently, I have loved it since the beginning. Not the beginning because I wasn't around then, but. Why would a child? I mean, maybe Dorothy with the red slippers,
right?
Would be more
Scarecrow,
anything. But the cowardly lion?
Yeah, I mean, I watched Wizard of Oz. I don't really think I had too much of a choice. I think it was just a lion, and then I watched.
Your parents forced you to be a lion that was cowardly? Is that
no? I think I chose. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a lion. I'm going to be the cowardly lion from The Wizard of Oz, the movie that I probably saw when I was 3 or 4 years old.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I do enjoy this. So this week's episode, by the way, is Bad Boys versus Ace Ventura.
Magic City.
We are in Miami, or at least
we're South Florida.
Somewhat close to it. So we're in the South Florida, and we decided I wanted to do Bad Boys, so I'm dressed up as a Mike Lowry. I don't know what I'm going to do with this gun holster after this, considering I don't have a pistol to put in it, and I also have to hit an airplane here soon. But I'm Mike Lowry, and I hope you enjoy this episode. And Ace,
I'm Ace.
How are you feeling today?
Alrighty then. I'm feeling pretty good. These two movies are very different, but also a lot of fun to watch. I have to ask you a question. Do you enjoy dressing up? Because this was your idea.
This was my idea, yeah. And I do not enjoy dressing up in any way, shape, or form. I have been a grandfather. I've been told this many times. In college, possibly in high school, but I was, for whatever it is worth, I don't like the attention to be on me. I know this is ironic, considering the fact we are in a podcast right now. I understand the irony, but with that said, I just have not. We have a lot of friends that we just left at a restaurant, nice restaurant, but I have never enjoyed dressing up for Halloween or this podcast this is amazing. I feel great.
The funny thing
it's so fun.
It's like, the bartender thought you might have been an undercover cop.
She did mention that. She was like, maybe I need to card you. And I was like, I'm double the age of what is required for one of these drinks.
But for me, I was kind of worried about like dressing up as Ace, and people be like, "What the hell are you wearing?" But then I realized this is just kind of what people wear in Florida. It's very.
You're worried about you wearing a flower shirt with a haired like dude that is absolutely ridiculous. It's not like spot on, but like I'm wearing a gun holster, and like some people I was like going next to the bar and like, is there something in there? And I was like, no, it's empty. It's good.
It's nothing. Yeah,
$6 Amazon. If you ever actually want to look like Mike Lowry, it was very difficult. I know this. I may look like Neo from the Matrix without hair, but I'm Mike Lowry. So anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to go first. Bad Boys versus Ace Ventura
Pet Detective,
and hopefully this is going to be an interesting episode. Mind you, Scene Weekly, also a pun. Scene Weekly. I am wearing sunglasses like Mike Lowry would. And I normally wear glasses, as do you, if you're not wearing contacts. Mm-hmm. So the Scene Weekly may not be so Scene Weekly this week. So if
we're method acting, basically. We're getting into character. We're doing the whole thing.
We're not very good actors, let's just be honest with you. But Bad Boys, background in the synopsis. 119 minutes, returning, by the way, Michael Bay. I mean, I don't know how we got into like 90s films. Like, for example,
we're doing a lot of Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer. It's just like
we basically are just big like 90s action dorks, and like we can't even actually get into like films that maybe have some. Anyway, we'll get into it later. But we're replicating ourselves a little.
This
more.
Is basically the Jerry Bruckheimer podcast.
Yeah, Jerry. So anyway. Yeah. So, Michael Bay returning here. The film came out in 1995. It's rated R. I think in the 90s, rated R is probably a very different story. R. Yeah, I think it's a soft R. Yeah, I mean, like,
it should have been PG-13. Are the other ones PG-13?
I haven't actually seen. Both of us haven't actually seen the other Bad Boys, but I don't know. I don't know the ratings of the others. But honestly, it's. I mean, how would you frame this? I mean, I looked this up. Is it a buddy cop?
It's
like action comedy?
It's a buddy cop action comedy. Slapstick and a little bit of a... It's kind of slapstick.
You love your slapstick, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Yeah. I remember there was one time we were walking down the street and you were talking about slapstick comedy and you were saying, literally, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy had the slapsticks that were slapping people in the face in like the desert. And you were like, no, I want to explain this to you. This is literally slapstick and slapstick. And
it's very meta.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a buddy cop action comedy. 43% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's kind of low.
It's low. I think it's low. 6.8 on the IMDb. The budget was $19 million, which is actually like very in terms of like the scenes that are required of like just explosions, of course, in any action comedy.
Yeah.
Seems pretty low. I could be wrong on this, but it's $19 million that I saw. $141 million box office. But I think if you made this movie now, it would do like gangbusters.
Well, they're still making these movies.
They are, but I mean, it took like 20 years to do it, or even more than that. But anyway, Miami, and let's just repeat, we have clearly, and I want to like get into the podcast actually because we don't have much time here. Miami-Dade Detectives, Mike Lowry, that's me, Will Smith.
You're more than Martin Lawrence.
Maybe I am. And Marcus Burnett, who is Martin Lawrence, blow a fuse when $100 million worth of heroin they recently confiscated is heisted from a station headquarters. Well, suspecting it was an inside job, Internal Affairs, what do? They give them 5 days. 5 days. 5 days to track $100 million. That doesn't make any sense, right? Like 90s movies are like Con Air, we talked about recently. Like these movies are so absurd that like the standards for which they have to actually apply themselves, it doesn't make sense. To actually get the money and the drugs back, or they're just going to shut down the whole like division, the narcotics division. Like, why?
It's kind of very.
None of this makes sense. But suspension of belief, which I think is actually the precursor to everything we've done in the last 2 weeks. But action is literally the prevalent notion of everything that actually exists in this movie. But this was your first viewing of this.
Yeah,
how is that possible?
It's one of those movies that just kind of flew under my radar.
I mean, what is your radar? I mean, like a radar. You haven't seen like half the movie so far. So like your radar, what would your radar be? Your radar is like, what have you been watching recently?
I do a lot of rewatches, so I'll watch the same movie that I've already seen.
I've seen The Lion King like 30 times in the last like few weeks. What have you been watching? I mean, that's because of a child, by the way.
Oh, I've been just watching what we've been doing these for the podcast.
That's it? Nothing else?
No.
Oh, because you don't have any time. That's right.
Yeah.
Do you like Kitchen Confidential type or like any kitchen movies? I know that you said like it's too close to home, but like, what's your favorite cuisine movie? Because I think we should do this.
Like a culinary movie.
Yeah.
You can't really get. You can't beat, the premise of a rat in a chef's hat conducting
Ratatouille.
Yes, yeah.
A rat. Have you prepared this like a rat in a chef's hat?
I should make a rap out of it.
By the way, Steven actually in college he would rhyme the eloquent nature of Eminem in the off, not the off-putting songs, but the songs that like people actually I haven't heard much of, like the track 6, for example. And he would just say this, and for some reason, people would be like, "Wow, that's a really good rhyme." And then they would be like, "Is this yours?" And he would just kind of like turn his shoulder, and then people assumed that he was the one creating these rhymes.
Right, yeah.
Which is hilarious. It's kind of like this long telling joke of itself. But anyway, we don't have time for this.
It kind of goes back to like what Miami is about, Jonathan. Like you have to fake it till you make it.
That is a good segue if I've ever heard one. And if you had to fake it till you make it, and you had money, do you think you would be a cop like Mike Lowry? Mike Lowry
comes from money, right?
He comes from money.
He's got a nice apartment.
He's got an $80,000 car, and it doesn't have cup holders.
No cup holders.
The very first scene in the Porsche, which is hilarious. I love that car, by the way. It's one of my favorite cars of all time. It's actually a car that, and I hate.
It's a Porsche.
It's a Porsche 911. But like I don't have a. I could be wrong on this, by the way, but I don't have an extreme interest on cars in any way, shape, or form. It's just like point A to point B. But for whatever reason, the Porsche 911 is my doll. I love it. The like Californication, for example, like David Duchovny, like that car in that.
I remember that show.
Very similar at the same time period. I really enjoy the Porsche. I don't know why. I had a 1990 Acura Integra that had very small similarities to it, but I think it harkens back to that.
Did it have cup holders?
I had a cup holder, yes. But do you think the Porsche 911 doesn't have cup holders?
I'm trying to think, because I valeted cars for a long time, for a few years.
Being Ace or being yourself?
Being myself.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I can't remember if they have cup holders or not. I'll have to do some research.
I would love a cup holder in our palm tree boxed wine glasses. By the way, this Pinot Grigio from CVS, it is not very good. But with that said, one of my favorite things, I mean, I'm going to repeat myself almost like a week over week. I very much enjoy the music. So it harkens back also to like, I think, I didn't look this up, but like Speed. Dun, 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 dun. Like this, I think it was 92, so like a couple years before. But like this, the music cut for editing right now. It's like so terrific with the music that just sets the tone. And I feel like I'm just repeating myself week over week over week with these 90s like movies of how it just sets the tone. But it also overrides pretty much everything that's existing in the movie, whether it's like quirky dialogue, whether it's just like cheesy dialogue. It gets you into the energy of the as you said, your words, suspension of disbelief.
Suspension of disbelief. Yeah. I mean, the fact that you got Michael Bay, I think we talked about this last week. He was directing music videos, so he has like that. He knows how to combine, image with music, and he does that really, really well. This is his first movie, right? Pretty sure.
Michael Bay. I don't know.
Yeah, it's his first movie. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible what he does. I mean, buddy cop movies. Like, can you find a better buddy cop movie than these two?
Ooh, the other guys. Like the other guy's pretty good.
The other guy's good.
Yeah, the other guy's pretty good. But
Lethal Weapon.
Very good point. I actually have listed in my notes later. That's the best buddy cop movie of all time. Right? Yeah.
Crazy Mel Gibson.
You can't, and Danny Glover. You can't. Yeah, and even Danny Glover. Like, and later in his days, he was saying like that. We're getting off topic, but like he was saying that was like his like greatest role of all time. But terrific. I mean, it's just a fun movie where basically it goes from like quick pace to quick pace with action flicks. There's explosions. There's a lot of Ember moments, literally and figuratively. But the music is fantastic. I was like, while watching the movie, I was like, when did actually people start advertising on the tops of buildings? Like, there's just the helicopter shot of like people in the advertisements of the buildings, and for example, like Citibank in New York. And I thought, how reputable and profitable would that even be? This doesn't make much sense to like advertise there for like the amount of money. But also, I guess
they were doing it back in the 90s. I mean,
I understand like a stadium being like this is Citibank Stadium or something like that. Like, and I'm using the Mets for example. Sorry,
I'm not a Mets fan.
But nonetheless, it's an interesting moment in time. There's no thinking involved.
Is this the best like shot Miami movie? Like just the sunsets, like the burnt orange that you get from it, like it feels like, I mean, obviously it's set in Miami, but he captures that feeling.
It's very it's well shot, but it's well edited as well, so that to the extent that like every moment is kind of a snapshot and a fairly good picture. But I wouldn't say it is very challenging, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's a very nice like we're in the twilight of our lives moment, and you want a snapshot of the sunset. This orange creamsicle that is just nice and smooth, and then there's just nothing else after that. Like like that's kind of what Bad Boys is to me. But like it's exciting. But I actually like what I did like way more is the reflections. There's a lot of reflective scenes, not only in like the windows, but in like the cars. Also, like there's some like raindrop scenes. Like I really enjoyed the raindrops that were actually there. But I mean the one thing I took away from this was the infighting between
Mike and Marcus.
So like as a backdrop, Mike and Marcus, they have to, because they inherit to some extent a witness, they switch places because
it becomes like a screwball comedy, like from like the 50s. Comedy. Like it's a screwballs comedy with a buddy cop, plot.
Which is the 90s cheesy plot, but they have to switch. They have to switch places.
Yeah, switch identities. Yeah,
and they try. One has children, and so there's children running amok, and the other is a ladies' man who happens to be very well off, but he wants to be a cop. He is, you're born into whatever you're born into, but when it comes down to it, while he does have money, he does actually want to change, or at least what it seems like, change the world and help the people from the bad guys, but. There's this huge disparity between the two characters, and they have to flip flop. And there is a woman, I can't remember her name.
Oh, it's
but the woman's actually in protective custody.
Julie Mott.
So Julie is in protective custody basically, and they have to effectively protect her. But they flip flop, and as you might imagine, a married man who does not want to cheat on his wife. And also with a woman who understands that the complexity of, I'm a Mike Lowry right now, dressed as Will Smith and looks like Will Smith, although Will Smith has big ears, but he's far more attractive than me and pretty much everyone on earth. Like that's, is an interesting dilemma and dichotomy, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Like these, the plot centers around these two cops and the fact that they have to switch places, and one's the married man, and Mike Lowry has to go and spend the. Why does he have to spend the night at her house?
Well,
I still don't get that part.
I don't understand the part either. But she eventually, you can see that there was an illusion that she understands what's happening, and they have actually switched places, and she was challenging him, like, if you're actually like this ladies' man, like, why aren't you hitting on me? I'm literally on what will it's on Mike Lowry's bed, but Marcus is actually on the corner or the side of the bed or the foot of the bed, and she's backwards with a bra and a panties and like lingerie, and she's like, if you're actually with Mike Lowry, like, what would you be? And that's like where the intimation is like, this isn't really making sense, but I do feel a bit secure.
Yeah.
And I do believe you in what you're actually saying, that you're probably a cop. But what it comes down to is just
Marcus is a good guy.
He's a very good guy.
Like, he's loyal.
But he's having some problems with his wife. He is not having sexual relations with his wife.
Yeah, he's got a lot
for
of
whatever
loopholes.
reason. And if you have ever been married, these are and married with children, I should say. These are always dumb men do dumb things, and so you just want to procreate. Men are pretty stupid, to be honest with you. You can be happy just with sex, but he is unhappy because he hasn't had sex. But he's loyal, which I appreciate. Men can do other things. But one of my favorite lines, and I have my phone on me. Regrettably, there is a match happening today, so I kind of don't want to actually be seeing this right now. But with that said, I want to show you one of my favorite shots. So this is my favorite shot of the entire movie, and it also is coincidentally at the same time of my favorite quote from the entire movie, where it's "Freeze, mother bitchers!"
Are you talking about the clerk at the 7-Eleven gas station?
Correct.
That is the same exact scene that I had.
Correct.
It sums up the movie.
It sums up the movie and basically put the gun down and get a pack of tropical fruit bubblicious.
And Skittles, motherfucker.
Have you ever had both of those? Because they are delectable. But this,
yes.
If we can, we're gonna get a snapshot.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna be able to film this. That was honestly, it was my favorite moment of the entirety of the film. Like, freeze, mother bitchers. There's just so much going on there.
I mean, the 7-Eleven clerk, like, he didn't believe these guys were cops. He's like, there's no way.
Yeah, because they're infighting. They're just fighting about like nonsensical things like a married couple would. And if Marcus hasn't had sex with his wife, he's like troubled, and Mike Lowry is trying to deal with that, but also deal with the fact that the other people are involved, Julie, and there are things that are problematic.
Oh yeah.
But nonetheless, one of my favorite moments. But my second favorite, actually maybe my favorite, is where Marcus, they're chasing down the bad guy, getting to the end, and literally on a driving the Porsche, by the way. And if you're a married man and somebody is a single man and you're having to drive their car, you want to scream at them to drive faster, but he has kids, and he's embracing that moment of like, yeah, we got to catch the bad guy, and he starts reading him the Miranda rights, him being the person they're chasing, and I was like, that's fucking great. And Mike Lowry was like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening right now? And I was like, this is it's probably the second best moment of the film. And it's like, you have the right to remain silent. It's like, what is happening right now? As he's driving the Porsche on a airstrip that seems to be dilapidated, but nonetheless, it's a fun flick.
It's fun,
unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's
easy to digest.
It's an easy to digest. I mean, you kind of brought up the editing. Like, I don't think viewers had seen this kind of editing before, where it's just like literally cut, quick.
Yeah.
It doesn't stay on anything. But I mean, that was the introduction of these 90s filmmakers, I feel like.
Yeah. I mean, it's simple, it's sweet, but I literally, when I was putting this in like 43%, I was like, there's no way this is 43%. They can't be 43%. And I looked up.
That's wild that it's 43%. I can't believe that.
Yeah, on Rotten Tomatoes, but I guess things happen here and there. But the binary between Marcus and Mike is fantastic. I like the ending as well, where everything is just exploding, and there's a dummy. I mean, it's clearly like a dummy that just gets thrown and tossed into the air. Like, I mean, I don't know what dummies looked like in 1995, but like the dummy that was used in this film, it was hilarious because it was just like getting shot out of a cannon. It was like there's no movement.
There's no movement.
Yeah, it was just like this. It's like, that's not that guy that just died, clearly, but nonetheless, fantastic movie. I loved it. I shouldn't say fantastic. It was a great movie. It was one of those popcorn flicks. It would have been The Rock, Con Air.
It kind of falls into that kind of category, yeah.
That 95, 96, 97, arena. Terrific.
I mean,
So speaking of,
so yeah, when we decided to do the Miami episode, since
Yeah.
we're here, there was a lot of like ideas of what we should do the episode about, right? So we
Right.
chose like, let's do maybe Florida Man movies. Maybe we should do something like that.
could you imagine? That would be terrific.
It's for another
For
episode.
another, yeah.
But we landed on the Miami episode, and first thing when you think of a Miami movie, you think of Scarface.
Yes.
Right?
I did.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Scarface is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dark.
More than fun. It's more
a
of
classic.
like a drama of mass proportion, but yeah, sure.
Sure. Yeah.
It's fun. I watched Scarface and I thought it was a lot of fun. You want to enjoy your Friday night eating some popcorn like bad boys with Scarface? Say hello to my little friend. Like, what are we talking about here?
We're not here.
That's not fun. That's not the word I would. Come on, let's choose a second word. What's another word that you would say? Drama would be it. Like, it would be like the small version of Breaking Bad, even though it was well before it. I mean, fun is maybe not the word I'd be using.
No.
Yeah. No. I mean, it is fun. Kind of. I mean, I don't know. It's fun. It's more dramatic.
We're not here to talk about Scarface.
Oh, fair point. Yes. What are we here to talk about?
Well,
Bad Boys, and what's our other one?
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Wait, do you not have Ace Ventura Pet Detective? You're wearing a hat right now.
This got really itchy.
You should put that on.
Should I put it back on?
Yeah.
Talking about Ace, yeah?
Yeah, you got a half hour of putting that on. You should absolutely. You better suck this up.
Whew. All right, yeah. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Holy Testicle Tuesday!
These are quotes from the film. These aren't John's actual thoughts right now. This is just quotes from the film, right?
They might be both.
Oh, okay. They'd be both.
We could. Did you ever think that testicles are good on Tuesdays?
They have like Wine Wednesdays. I always think Taco Tuesdays, but Testicle Tuesdays could be a new thing.
Do you think that's like a normal thing in Denver?
Oh, because of the Rocky Mountain oysters.
Oysters.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably do that. Like a little sliver,
Really?
I would offer it. It'd be funny, and then the funny thing would become anyway.
You've eaten some weird things in your life. Like, didn't you go to like Iceland?
I did.
Eat that like really rotten kind of smelling fish.
I did. Thank you for bringing that back up. So it's called hackerel, and it basically tastes like feet soaked in urine, because it actually is urea, the shark that they put underground. But nonetheless, I have put some weird things in my mouth, and that was probably the weirdest thing in my mouth. But what about Ace Ventura?
Ace Ventura. Okay, so let's get into this movie here. This came out in 1994. It's an American comedy, obviously starring Jim Carrey. If you haven't seen Ace Ventura Pet Detective, I don't know what you're doing with your life. This was a breakout performance by Jim Carrey, kind of landed on the map. Like this is what he did. He did Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, and The Mask, or maybe not in that order.
The Mask, I think, was earlier before that, and then later, Liar Liar.
Liar Liar, yeah.
Just,
I mean,
unbelievable,
insane what he accomplished. Because before this, he was a stand-up comedian.
He was
in a,
and I wish he still was. To be fair,
yeah. He was in a sketch comedy show in Living Color.
Yeah, which you had not known about.
I mean, I knew about it, but I had never really seen any.
Wow.
Clips.
Yeah, fantastic. It's a great show.
Yeah?
Was a great show, I should say. Yeah.
I need to check it out. But anyways, this movie was it's a breezy 86 minutes. Like,
yeah, it's quick.
It flew by.
But it did fly by. It's snowflake flies.
We'll bring up Snowflake in a little bit. Budget $15 million. So this was just
$15 million?
Yeah, 15.
That is cheap. Like, I mean, like Jim Carrey would be like far more. I'm sorry to be interrupting.
That's okay. I mean, well, this was before Jim Carrey was that mega star household name.
He was a pretty big star, though. Yeah, he wasn't Ace Ventura star.
He was an Ace Ventura star. But yes, this was a $15 million budget. It brought in 107.2 million at the box office for a unknown slapstick kind of comedy that we're talking about. That's pretty good, right? They don't make these kind of like these slapstick movies.
Nor maybe should they. I'm not saying like they. Well, I shouldn't say that. It is fantastic. If you haven't seen Ace Ventura in a long time, I mean, it's everything that represents offensiveness, but at the same time, fun.
Yeah,
and simple.
It leans into the offensive. I think they know that they're doing it so much so that it becomes like a parody.
It's basically a fart joke that you just keep repeating to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta like he uses his ass as a puppet.
Yeah, as he should.
Like
it's like physical comedy. Like where has physical comedy gone? And I'm not even talking about like Dimitri with like a strumming a guitar. I'm talking about like physical comedy where he's like literally taking his ass cheeks and talking like
it's a choice.
Like, would you think? Because his deep voice, he's actually talking in tone loc. Like his deep voice is funny and hilarious. But like, if your butthole could talk, like what would it say? And in what magnitude of like a pitch would it say it? Because his butthole was like, bah, 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 like Cookie Monster.
Yeah, it was definitely a loose butthole.
I don't know. I think it's an aggressive butthole that you wouldn't want to like talk to.
What was your sound like?
Probably the same as Ace. Yeah, because I think most buttholes are probably like not very nice to talk to.
They're kind of
not great.
Like Oscar the Grouch kind of thing, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, we can go into the plot of Ace Ventura. Basically, he's a private eye pet detective, and is that a thing? I never even looked this up.
I don't know if it's a thing, but I think it should be a thing forever. And if it's not, ever, you vets that want to actually be cops, you should become a pet detective.
Pet detective.
How many, like, do you know, like, the rewards that you can get where it's, like, like, you go down the street, there's a telephone pole, it's like, reward, $5,000, come save Snowflake. Not the dolphin, but, like, Snowflake the dog, and you're like, I don't give a shit about this dog. Well, you can now, Mr. Vet, Mrs. Vet, you can now, and it would be lovely. We should make this happen, and we should film you while doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you need like a special certification to be a pet detective, or you just like gumption.
Gumption. Yeah, you have a certificate in gumption. Yeah. The certificate is from Bullshit University.
But yeah, he is the titular pet detective, Ace Ventura. He is recruited by a Miami Dolphins publicist, Courtney Cox, right?
Right.
To find their kidnapped mascot.
Who's their kidnapped mascot?
It's a dolphin named Snowflake.
That's a good name. That not a snowflake, because in Miami snowflakes don't exist. Do you think that's a good name? I love the name, by the way.
Well, I lived in Miami for a while. Never saw.
Did you see a snowflake?
Never saw any snow.
You didn't see any dolphins?
Doesn't really happen. Dolphins? Yes, I did see dolphins.
So you saw a snowflake?
I didn't see that snowflake because snowflake is unique.
You saw the snowflake dolphin?
Not the snowflake dolphin. No.
Oh, okay.
You're getting confused.
No. I'm just saying, like, you didn't see the dolphin.
I saw a dolphin.
But not the dolphin.
Not the dolphin. Okay. But anyways, I digress. Ace has to solve this lingering problem because the Super Bowl's coming up.
It is? And who's in the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl is the Miami Dolphins. It's Dan Marino.
Literally Dan Marino and the coach, Don Shula.
Don Shula, yes.
Yeah.
They don't really do this that much anymore.
I wish they did.
It doesn't happen.
Quite literally, I wish they did. And this was my main crux with movies now. It was similar to Nothing But Trouble, but even way better. Way better. Yeah, I just had a smile on my face in every single moment that was actually happening. I was like, this is so hysterical. And I hope you go into this, but the guitar is throughout. It's
just so, like a riff that just
it's like so through. Cheesy, and it's basically like in Living Color. Going back to the sketch, it's like sketch comedy, and this character that is just absolutely ridiculous. Nothing. Everything he's doing is ridiculous. His hair is ridiculous. He's wearing. I don't even know what he's wearing, to be honest with you. Whoever told him he should wear this should be shot, but it works well together. But Jim Carrey actually was able to create this character as he did in Living Color, and it might be honestly the greatest character of all time. But it's sketch comedy
that brought him there.
That brought him there. But it's sketch comedy continued for 86 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's basically the Chappelle Show continued for 86 minutes, and it's just like sketch, pieced together under the same theme.
And there's some kind of plot.
But there's no. I don't know another movie like this. I've tried to think about it. I don't know another movie like this, honestly. It's really difficult to come up with one. And I just wish more would have been replicated.
Well, I mean, they did make Ace Ventura 2 When Nature Calls, but that's not very good.
It's very... We can have this debate. It's very good.
It's okay.
Guano? Go on.
When did you watch Ace Ventura 2, Pet Detective?
I watched Ace Ventura 1 this past week, and I also watched Ace Ventura 1 probably a year ago, and I also watched Ace Ventura When Nature Calls probably a year ago.
Oh, wow. See, I haven't seen it in a long time, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, in terms of rewatching, I also rewatch, but you must be rewatching things that I don't. Anyway, what do you got?
What I got here. So basically, we're doing a lot of plot chatter here. I don't want to do plot chatter because everybody knows what's going on with Ace, and he's got this. For some reason, the pet detective side of things is kind of connected to the police station in Miami. Like, I don't know why there's a relationship between Einhorn, which is the female sergeant of the police force, and Ace Ventura, who is just like this pet detective that has no credentials whatsoever except a lot of gumption.
Well, the connection is Tone Loc's character, who I actually can't remember at the time, but Tone Loc, by the way, did you like Tone Loc back in the day? The Wild Thing? Yeah. I mean, one of the greatest songs of all time. But like Tone Loc's character is, he's they're investigating like particular murders and things of that nature in regards to the Miami happenings. But Ace goes into Tone and he says, like, what's going on? I need to know about like what's happening with Snowflake or the potential for Snowflake and who's involved. And so he has that connection.
Right.
And I don't know necessarily like if the connection, because Einhorn is not desirous of the relationship to be existing in the capacity. So there is clearly an issue between the two, as there should be. Like if you're the sergeant to a police station, you're going to want to manage the situation, and a private detective.
How many years do you think it takes to get sergeant of a police station?
I have no idea. Probably a lot. Like at least.
Do you think they do background checks?
I think so, and I think Mike Lowry probably does it too. Yeah, I think there's some sort of background check, but there's an issue. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Never has there existed a moment in terms of, Einhorn coming together when there's you can go into the murder scene, but like, what is actually going to happen in the first instance of a crime scene between Einhorn and Ace? And Ace is trumping Einhorn and the entirety of the team, who is challenging him at every get-go because they're making fun of him for focusing on animals. And he's like, you think it's like, oh, this is going to be one item where they're going to like trump him or whatever. It's like making small dick jokes constantly throughout. But in the scene where he's like, by the way, Jim Carrey has very good vocals. That is hilarious. Unbelievable. But hilarious. But my focus is this. There's no other movie on earth that basically can explain in like 14 seconds in one breath what exactly he is actually telling you to the camera. And I was like, there is no other movie and there's no other podcast and there's no other person on earth that actually can do that with the most interesting way possible. What would you think about that, Stephen?
You almost did it.
I don't know what I was going to say next, but
yeah, I mean, when Jim Carrey as Ace basically lays it out for them what happened. Who he basically puts the police force on their heels and shows everybody up.
He shows everybody up. Yeah. So basically the reason he showed everybody up is because double plate glass doors that shut, and so therefore, if they're in the apartment, you couldn't hear it, and therefore there was a quandary.
They basically had to the double pane glass doors basically blocked out that sound. So
yeah, right.
But I got to go back to that scene where Ace kind of finds one of the diamonds, I guess, in the
so the ruby,
yeah.
So he found the ruby when he was going into the tank, and he goes, when he was going down, one of my favorite quotes of all time, he goes, "If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer." Sounds like that. That's so good.
Did you like him, like, kind of, his seeping around, hiding against the
what do you think?
And then
I had so basically in 7th grade, I think this is the year that it came out for me, or maybe like 6.5, if you will. I don't know if there's a 6.5, but Matt McCall, who happens to be was like I think the director of operations or director of basketball at the University of Florida. They won the 2 national titles, but he and I we went to summer camp together at University of Florida with his father. I believe his father was a lawyer in Ocala, but like, it was very funny. He ran for class president when he was in 7th grade. And so what would happen, and very smart guy, eventually becomes like a very successful basketball coach. Smart guy as a 7th grader, blonde kid, just as me, as I didn't keep the blonde hair, but he did. So what would you do if Ace Ventura just came out and you wanted to run for class president? You're going to be Ace Ventura. He literally did a skit, pretty much what you're doing now. He literally got on stage and basically did a riff on Ace Ventura, and then immediately went into quotes from Ace Ventura. Alrighty then, and everything there on out, it was like a standing ovation. Everyone, of course, it was like a 1,000 students at the it was like an auditorium, like, voted for him, and I was like, "This is one of the greatest things I've ever seen."
I wonder where he's at now in life.
He's a basketball coach for Division I.
Okay, so he's doing well.
Well, he did. Yeah, he was University of Florida didn't listen to me. Director of basketball, and then eventually,
missed that part.
Yeah. Eventually became the head basketball coach at Appalachian State.
Okay.
I haven't seen him in a very long time, basically since 7th grade. But I do remember that moment of him actually repeating the words of Ace Ventura and him also winning. So that's
amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Did you ever run for like class president?
No.
Or anything like that?
Yeah, I was too beaten down by life.
But at 7th grade?
Yeah, I was too beaten down by life to think about anything else other than just surviving.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. Yeah. So we're back with Ace. Basically, I was saying he found the ruby. But I like that scene because he basically told the guests at the party, he's like, "I'm just going to go to the restroom real quick." And then he comes back out, and great physical comedy. He's soaking wet.
He is wet. Why is he wet?
Well, he went to the fish tank.
Why did he go in the fish tank? He was looking for what?
He was looking for Snowflake.
Oh, did he find Snowflake?
He did not.
Oh, God. Who did he find?
He found there was a ruby, right?
He didn't find a ruby, but he found it like Jaws.
Jaws, that's right.
Yeah, like a shark. A shark in the small, like the size of this table. He found a shark that was in a...
But Ace is like, he's like Dr. Dolittle. He can he can talk to animals, I feel like that's his thing, right?
He literally can. Even when he's actually going to his apartment, he's like jangling like his keys.
Could you live in an apartment with that many animals?
No. What are the animals? Because in my opinion, birds can go fuck themselves. All you birds, all you seagulls, all you pigeons, all of the birds. Maybe the parrots are actually pretty cool, but you need to understand, like a cat, poop in the places that you should be pooping. But birds can go fuck themselves.
Birds do whatever they want.
I don't like birds. My wife, she has I have a strong angst against birds. She has a strong angst against birds. But like birds, if you're just walking down the street, just a bird can poop on you. What other animal can do that? Maybe an airplane that somebody is shitting from the sky.
Birds have the high ground, man.
I understand that. But if you're a flat earth conspiracy theorist, that's not true.
If you were a bird, would you do the same thing? Yeah, hell yeah,
I would just release it. But let's go on. Sorry.
Anyways, Dr. Doolittle, Ace Ventura, he's basically, he can talk to animals.
That's right.
But he comes out of the restroom, and again, like I said, great physical comedy. It's soaking wet, and he has his little pocket right here on his shirt. Just well, I mean, that was like one of my biggest Ember moments right there.
Yeah, fantastic. And his legs for his pants are just completely disheveled, eaten by jaws.
Yeah,
and or the creature that was in that whatever was there. Actually, it did seem like a shark, but and then he talks to the Monopoly guy. The Monopoly guy that actually literally has a monocle. But even before he got to that, like where he jumped over the ledge and was like shimmying along.
Yeah.
And he had to not ever do shimmying along. And like the physical comedy of him like holding onto the wall, but he could just like walk and then opens the door and then like jumps in. There's nothing else like this. Like it's a first of its kind, and also like I don't know any other movie that's like that. Full stop.
Yeah, I don't think we've had like up to this point like a comedian like Jim Carrey. Like I think he just came onto the scene and people were like, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah. I mean, his impressions are the best.
Yeah, it's insane. But anyways, getting back to where we're at with this plot, Ace is basically finding his way around the Miami Dolphins team. Basically, he has to find out who might be missing a sapphire in their AFC championship game ring. Right. Because he knows that there's a piece missing, and he like the montage of him trying to find out which player.
He's getting punched in the face because like the rubies, if they're missing a ruby, it's gonna have an imprint on his face. Like
he's sprinting around a track with some guys
while the guitar riff is just connecting everything together. Just let it itch. Come on, you got to be Ace. Like Ace wouldn't do this. I wouldn't be doing this. Just to be clear, I will never do this. Suck it up sometimes.
Yeah. So he goes through the whole roster, the whole list, everything like that. He's crossing off names and everything like that. He has a photo.
And then what does he get at the end?
He gets nothing, man.
Why does he get nothing?
Because he doesn't have the most updated photo.
Oh, why?
Because he's the Lahu Zahur. No,
I see what you did there.
Because the photo was taken later in the year or something like that.
Yeah, so there was a kicker, Ray Finkel, that actually was signed later in the year, and the original picture that Ace was actually choosing and then crossing off every single person of the football team didn't include Ray Finkel.
He's the kicker. Well, Ray Finkel had a moment in his career where he could have sent them to the Super Bowl. And what happened? He missed. It was like a 25-yard
26.
Yeah, it's not very far.
It's a wide left.
So what? Like, okay, I follow football. I watch football. Not many kickers miss a 26-yard field goal.
Yeah, let me tell you, somebody grew up in Florida. We had my mom went to the university. My entire family went to UF. My sister, my cousins, and they want to talk to me about how my child needs to go to UF, and I just want to like go fuck yourselves, basically. Because why? Well, there is a rivalry with FSU versus UF. My mom, she went to FSU, and the only reason there's a rivalry together is because they hate each other. But nonetheless, with that being said, I have no idea why I even got on this topic to begin with.
Talking about field goals.
But, the wide right and wide left between UF and FSU hurts to this day.
Oh, yeah?
It hurts. Yeah. There's a lot of wides. So I get why there would be wide anything. And I also would get why laces out and laces in would be pertinent. if you were to try to hit something, imagine a football.
Right.
Can you imagine a football? You said you're a football
Hold
fan.
on.
So
Give me 1 second. Yes, I got it.
Got it. If you were to imagine a football with laces in or laces out,
Mm-hmm.
where would you rather kick it? Laces in or laces out?
I would want to kick it laces out.
Me too.
Yeah.
And so what happened to Ray Finkel with Mr. Dan Marino?
So the funny thing is this doesn't happen all the time in sports, but it does on certain teams and certain players. Like Tony Romo was a quarterback who would
This happens a lot.
would
actually.
hold the
for quarterbacks. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
I don't even watch football at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, this happens.
Yeah, it was Dan Marino was one of those guys,
And what did he do?
Well, I mean, Dan just held the ball and plays for Ray Finkel, but Ray Finkel missed wide left.
Finkel, do you think that's a little? It's just a fun name, right? Ray
Finkel.
Yeah. So good.
It's great. I mean,
so wide left at 26 yards.
Also, being a kicker on a team, like, think about that, man. Like, are you really part of the team? You are. You're very
part of the team.
You're very important.
Yeah.
But like, you don't really take the hard hits.
But what happens next?
What happens next?
Yeah.
So Ace has to go and track down this Ray Finkel.
Okay,
he's got to search for him. He goes all the way to Ray Finkel's house, like the house that he grew up in.
Right.
Yeah, and he comes to realize, like,
right.
This is a person that has been shunned by society. And his parents still kind of live in that agony.
Parents being Alice Drummond, who is like the greatest mother of all time. Like, full stop. Like, Alice Drummond, like, who is the character of Ray Finkel's mother, or soon to be somebody else's mother. But like, the greatest mother that I have actually seen is somebody who actually feels like a mom, bakes football like cakes and cookies, and
she still thinks Ray's coming home,
representing like, oh, Ray's coming back. It's just going to be a few minutes, and then the father is like, "There's no fucking way." It would be like our friend Mike.
He's not coming back.
He's not coming back. There's no way that motherfucker's not coming back. Now, clearly, like, the difference between like a man and a woman, but like rolling up to that house, it's just a complete disaster of all intents and purposes, though.
It was a disaster.
But I truly like Alice Drummond. It actually reminds me of the Poltergeist woman, and it also reminds me of the sense of like where he is figuring out, like, closing the door, and as he's closing the door,
I've never seen Poltergeist.
You've never seen Poltergeist? Do you remember when he figured out the first crime with the person that got thrown over the ledge, and he was like, "This house is clear."
That was a line. That was a reference.
That's Poltergeist. Yeah. But fantastic. I think she's like a proper mom. She's still trying to look out for her son. We
go into Ray's room, right? Like, we get to see his room.
It's like, laces out, laces out. And it's like drawing on all the walls. A little creepy. And then what happens?
Well, okay, so this whole time, Ace Ventura is getting ragged on by the sergeant of the police squad,
very much so.
Einhorn. Sergeant Einhorn.
That's right.
What's her first name here?
I have no idea.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Lois.
It sounds like it would be Lois.
Yeah.
If I ever have an idea of a woman that's like as a sergeant, it would be Lois.
So basically, we kind of understand now, right?
Yeah.
Or Ace understands now that there's basically a twist in his.
And what's the twist?
The twist.
Go into it.
The twist.
You can do it.
His Einhorn is Finkel.
Wait. What?
Finkel is Einhorn.
I don't understand.
Einhorn is Finkel.
No, one more time.
And Finkel is Einhorn.
Wait, you're saying Einhorn is Finkel and Finkel is Einhorn? No. Or Einhorn is Finkel and Finkel is Einhorn? Or Finkel is Einhorn?
Einhorn and Finkel
are the same person.
So what does everybody do at that point? And why?
The why, I don't know. everyone wants to chew gum, brush their teeth, because everyone has either had sex with Einhorn Finkel, and they regret that decision. You know, I don't know if you can make this movie now. You can't make this movie now.
No,
which is regrettable because I feel like you should be able to make this movie now because everything should be made fun of.
It
We don't
offends some
have to
people.
go into the details of this. It depends on the person, but yeah, we should make fun of things.
Yeah, we should.
But Einhorn was Finkel. Did you know this to begin with?
When I first saw this movie when I was 10 years old, no, I had no idea.
And did you think like I thought Einhorn was attractive?
I know it was kind of sexy, right?
She was kind of sexy, but I felt like my favorite scene of the entire movie in terms of my Ember moment and the mise-en-scene was the dock scene where Ace is actually trying to go find Dan Marino and he's looking left, he's looking right, and he doesn't know actually where Dan is, and then tries his best to basically find. And there's a dolphin, snowflake's
there.
Fantastic, yeah.
Everything ends all right. The dolphins.
So what happens?
Well, Ace basically uncovers the whole plot and basically shows everybody
that Finkel is Einhorn and Einhorn is Finkel. A man is a woman, and Ray Finkel as a kicker is now a woman sergeant.
That's where I go back to, like, yeah. I mean, that's a long con right there. Like,
it's a long game, yeah, for sure.
And
yeah,
like I said, police agencies would do the research on hiring people, and to be a sergeant, you have to like. It takes a long time. Like, you just don't like apply to be a sergeant out of the blue and like, okay, that's your position.
And he was also in an insane asylum.
And he took somebody's like a lost hiker.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
It's 90s movies that you just have to suspend your disbelief.
You just go with it.
I just feel like I want to go back to the 90s, and we all should just like suspend our disbelief on pretty much everything in life. It just feels good, though. I mean, the amount of quotes that are here, I have 1,000 here, but it's just like, holy Testicle Tuesday. It's like, what does that even mean?
Is it number 1 or number 2? I just want to know how much time I have.
But it's like that quote, if you're to say like, is it number 1 or number 2? I just want to know how much time I have. Is funny. And then if he says it with like, is it number 1 or number 2? I just want to know how much time I have. Like,
yes, Satan. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. You sounded like someone else.
Yeah, he was like, do you still have the same number? Can I call 911? He was like, I hope you get gonorrhea and burn in hell. I'm talking about Dan. Oh, that's not even. That's Finkel and Einhorn. But anyway, let's get to the point. We are to the point of ranking our movies. And do you have our spreadsheet?
I do, yeah. It's pulled up. I just got to enter some things in here.
Thanks. All right, so back at it.
We're back at it.
Who's going to go first? I'm going to go first. So Bad Boys, simply put, I have to catch an airplane, so this is of mass importance. I also am not wearing my glasses, so this is not Mise-en-Scene Weekly.
I can put on mine. Don't worry.
Oh, I don't have mine, but I'm glad that you have yours. So with that being said,
let's get to the rankings, John.
I'm going to go with Bad Boys first.
Okay.
I'm Mike Lowry.
Lowry.
So, best performance.
Who would you nominate?
I mean, to be frank, I don't know. They're all similar characters.
I think Martin Lawrence Martin
Lawrence is better than Will Smith, but nobody is great. So I gave it a 75.
I give it a 70. I like Martin Lawrence's performance the best.
Yeah, it was good.
He was the most. Will Smith is great.
Yeah,
and Will Smith actually curses in this, which he doesn't really curse in his.
His music, or pretty much anything, which would lead you to believe if somebody doesn't cuss. I don't know. Maybe they're with the wrong person. But anyway, best quote, 75, Mother Bitchers was fantastic, I thought. Also, there was others, but it's more of there's no substance to it. And, it's fairly cheesy, but good.
Yeah, I gave it an 80.
Not great.
I gave it an 80.
Oh, that's good. Best score, I love the Jerry Bruckheimer score. I can't see this, but I have a 90 because I love the score.
That's like Hans Zimmer kind of score.
Level. I love it. Okay. Like the dun 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 dun, like the action movies from the 90s. I love the scores.
Okay.
Yeah, full stop. Yeah. Best editing 75. I don't like the Jane Bull John. Yeah, 65. I would actually agree with you. Like
It's
not,
kind of
it's too much.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Let the camera linger for a second.
I would agree. Mise-en-Scene, the what I showed earlier is a 90. 75.
That's my Ember moment. My Ember moment is the.
Oh, okay. I mean, that makes sense. But mise-en-scene is like the framework of. I mean, Ember moment. I guess we should probably differentiate in the future. But to me, that was like what represents this movie. Like we're cops.
Give me some Skittles.
Yeah. Like that to me is the mise-en-scene. The Ember moment is less to me.
Yeah.
Directing was 75 for me.
I gave it 70. Michael Bay's first film. We'd go on to see him do other high-profile
such as we've
Transformer movies, and what we just did, The Rock.
Yeah.
I
gave it a 75. You gave it a 70. Ember moment, I actually gave it a 75. To me, it was like very cheesy, but the Ember moment was again goes back to like just burning things.
Yeah. Every Ember moment with you has been like
the last two.
Something that's burning.
Yeah, I'm dumb. It's like Ember. There's something aflame. You can see it going that way. Yeah.
All right. Let's go into Ace. So best performance. I kind of agree a little bit more with you. I give it a 90.
Yeah.
But I mean, Jim Carrey. There's nothing that's been done like that, and nothing that will ever be done like that. Like
I give it a 95. I mean, the performance. There's nothing that could compete with this. The lines, everything that he actually did and provided and illustrated for like a character is mind blowing. I would give it 100. I want to give everything 100 to be honest here, but like I just couldn't. The quote, he had 6,000 quotes. I give it a 95 as well.
6,000 quotes.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I don't know what else to say about Ace other than how do you feel?
You love the score too. You love the guitar riff coming through.
Yes, it was also a 90. I actually disagree wholeheartedly with you. Like it's everything that you would imagine in Ace Ventura to actually placate his personality.
He thinks
like imagine him at
thinks he's
imagine
007.
Imagine him at nighttime with his animals, the 7,000 animals, and he's just like playing his guitar. And that the bass also, he's playing like the orchestra. He's also playing other things, and that's what he's basically playing his own tune to his life. That's this movie to me, and so I think it's an epic score.
Could Ace?
Because like literally in his brain, he smoked some weed, he got high, and he was like, "What would I do with my life? I'm going to be Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, and this is the song that's going to be playing." That's how I see this.
Yeah.
If you were to get high, I'd see it like that. But editing 80, you gave it less.
Yeah, 75. I mean, it was good.
Yeah, it's average. Mise-en-Scene, I gave it an 80. What did you give it?
65.
Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, but I gave it only because of basically like one shot.
This is going to be like, I think this might be our highest rated film of the series.
No.
It's okay. Directing. This was another.
Oh, no. This is definitely wrong.
A directing name
that's definitely wrong on my end.
A director that I hadn't heard of, Tom Shadyac.
Yeah, so the directing, if we can go lower than 65, I would. It's directed very poorly, but I think that there's an Ember scene and mise-en-scene like that's fantastic. I gave it a 65. I gave it a 70.
And this Tom guy had a great relationship with.
And then your Ember moment. What do you got?
Ember moment.
Last but not least.
Okay, let me pull that up.
So I got a 90. We both have 90s.
We both have 90s.
Yeah.
I think it was the Einhorn is Finkel is Einhorn for me.
Fair enough.
And the reveal of like you see Finkel and the panties and everything like that.
Yeah.
And you got to turn around.
Yeah, I know. And you've got hemorrhoids. Yeah. That just means there are some people that say otherwise. But John, we maybe have just seen in our Airbnb in South Florida. Not only a full moon, but a replication of Finkel.
Einhorn.
Is Einhorn. So, Jonathan, movie score on Bad Boys, I have a 78. It looks like you have a 72.5. And then for Ace Ventura, I have an 85, and you have a 79.5, and that is not nearly the score. That is the top.
So that's our average, right?
No, that's not our average. So the average has to fold under here to unhide. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so totals here. Bad Boys 75.25, only because Steven has wanted to just placate and destroy the universe that is. And Ace Ventura 82.25.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty then. This is terrible. 82.25? I mean, I guess you're like doing it from like a film objectivity type of zone.
You're kind of doing more on like vibes that you had watching it.
Yeah,
like
for sure. But you are also, in most of the movies you've seen so far, doing it in the vibes that you have seen.
That's true.
But Ace Ventura, if there's any movie that you were actually going to like quantify it, vibes are exactly what we should do.
I like that.
Yeah. How would you not?
Yeah, exactly. But
until next week.
Wait. I have one more question. Do you think Ace Ventura could be in a Bad Boys film, and Bad Boys could be an Ace film?
No.
And would you like to see that?
That would not work out. But I do believe that there should be a third Ace Ventura for sure. And why wasn't there a fourth, fifth, and sixth? I don't know. I have 2 hours to get to the airport, so
we got to wrap this up.
Right now.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us live in person in Miami. Till next time, right?
Near Miami. Until next time. Welcome. God.